on Let's Wrap.
My mom was like, you can do anything you want to as far as physical abilities. Don't let this hold you back.
Michael James Knight didn't have a family history of hemophilia, but diagnosed at birth, it's the only life he's known. He was later diagnosed with von Willebrand's, but with encouragement from his family, especially his mother, who now works as a patient advocate at HPC, he didn't let his condition stop him from his dreams.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Take us back to the diagnosis of hemophilia, and I know you've had some other diagnoses since then. What has that been like for you?
It's definitely a different lifestyle. You grow up learning to deal with issues and pain with your joints.
Michael says the treatments today are much different than what he received growing up in the 80s. Infusions were usually done at the hospital and took hours. Part of the time was spent waiting for the medications to thaw out.
About the age of 8 to 9, my mom was like, unless you want me attached to your hip, you're going to have to learn how to do it yourself. I started at a real young age, giving my own factor.
That was pretty much unheard of at the time. So was engaging in some of the activities he enjoyed.
I grew up riding four-wheelers, dirt bikes, karate, scuba diving, pretty much as a normal kid.
Now, as an adult, do you look back on that and think, wow, for a parent to encourage that, even though you know at their heart they were probably very worried about, what might happen, but just being able to do that and explore that and be like other kids your age, what kind of an impact did that have on you?
It kind of inspired me to go out and do the best I can do and try anything. And with my job and traveling and getting to see the world, it definitely prepared me for that.
You talked a little bit about your mother, family, said you could do whatever you want to do, what you set your mind to, despite having some medical challenges. Talk a little bit about that.
My mom was very, don't let this hold you back. You can do anything you want, with the exception of football. Football was where she drew the line.
Michael dreamed of joining the military.
This was as close as I could get with hemophilia.
He's traveled the world doing contract work as a site lead for C-26 airplanes, completing missions in Africa and Afghanistan.
I make sure that all the maintenance, everything to do with the airplane is done. The airplane's ready to fly for any mission that they throw on us.
How did you get into that?
I was going to college for aviation, and they approached me with the job while I was still in school.
Did it align with a lot of the things you like to do?
I kind of enjoy traveling, and I really wanted to be in the military.
What do you tell people when they say, what is hemophilia? What does that mean? I'm sure a lot of people don't know a lot about it. So this is an opportunity to sort of educate them.
Most of the time I get, so you're going to bleed to death if I cut you. No, it doesn't really work that way. I just bruise longer until I get a shot. I don't bleed longer.
When you tell people about your medical situation, are they surprised you've been able to do the job that you're doing?
I'm actually in pretty good shape for the era that I grew up in as far as hemophilia. They're surprised with the hemophilia and the fact that I've had an elbow replacement, that I'm still out there working just as hard as everybody else.
What advice would you give a young child or even a parent who's dealing with a hemophilia diagnosis based on your own experience?
As a child, you should know that you're going to grow up a lot quicker than any other child as far as learning responsibility for yourself. And later on in life, that will become an advantage to you. For a parent, it's going to be hard for you to let your kid be a kid. You can guide them and protect them the best you can.
Today, Michael lives with his wife of 13 years, Kristen, near Conway, Arkansas, and encourages other young people living with his condition to move forward with their dreams the way he has.
Definitely don't let it hold you back. As far as parents, I would suggest finding something with your kid that keeps them active. I know it sounds weird, but the more you set, the stiffer your joints get.
22 years later, he still loves his military contract work.
Thank you for your service. Even though you're not actually in the military, you're a big part of the process. So you're a servant too. So thank you.
Thanks.
You've been listening to HPC's Let's Wrap, a podcast by HPC Specialty Infusion for patients and providers. We're proud to specialize in patient health and happiness at hpcspecialtypharmacy.com or call 1-800-757-9192.